This year my best friend Brian finished his first trifecta, and it was his birthday coming up, so I wanted to make him something to display his medals. I used the trifecta plate that I already had as a template, and I traced out where the medals needed to go in the center. My original plan was to use the 1/2-inch pine board that I drew the template on and router out the section to hold the metal pieces. But I thought that would be too complicated, so I switched to using 1/8-inch plywood and cutting out the center on the bandsaw. I also cut out an identical triangle out of 1/2-inch plywood to use as a backer. After all the pieces were cut, it was time to glue the two halves together and make it one piece. Then I clamped them and left them to dry. After they were dry, I sanded down the edges so that I had a flat surface to attach the frame to. I really like the look of the exposed plywood, so I used 3/4-inch plywood to make the frame for the triangles. I made sure to make an extra piece because I thought I might mess up the cuts somehow, and I did have some trouble making the angle cuts. Alright, to get this cut for the triangle, because I wanted to do an outside frame like this, and to get these angles, they're more than 45 or 50 degrees like the saw allows. So pretty much I hot glued this piece of MDF, and then I cut 45-degree angles on both sides, which gave me this portion here. And so when you line up a piece of wood in here, I have it set just about above 60 degrees. It'll cut a 60-degree angle because you have 45 right here. Hopefully that makes sense. This is how I'm doing it to get those triangle angles so I can get the miter cuts all together. It seems to be working. I hope it comes together. This is a little advanced. It's a little out of my comfort zone, but I had to do it. I really wanted this look, so this is what I'm going with. Using that jig definitely did help me get the angle cuts. I wouldn't have been able to do it without it. And I was able to pull off the MDF that I attached with hot glue right after. You just had to give it a little tug. It came right off the surface. After all of my pieces were cut, it was time for more sanding to make the edges all flat and smooth. The trifecta metal is held into the plate with a magnet so that the metal pieces don't fall off. Now that the pieces are all done, I used a dark wood stain for the interior of the triangle. This gave it a really nice professional look. To attach the outer frame to the centerpiece, I just used some wood glue and clamped it overnight. Be careful with the clamps because I did chip one of them with one of the clamps because I was using that thin edge right there to hold the pieces all together. I did fill any of the imperfections with wood filler, and then I went back and sanded down everything smooth so it had a nice clean surface to adhere the polyurethane to. I did use a fast dry spray polyurethane, and I think the finish turned out great. And to finish it off, I did add 3 hooks to hold the different metals that you get when you finish the races. These were originally brass hooks that I spray painted with a oil brushed bronze to match the piece a little bit better. This was a really fun project to do, and I think it turned out great. I really hope Brian enjoys it.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Brian.
A nice ice to get the road trip off.